One come all, those short, those tall. There may be some clowning around, but you'll get an earful all in all. No need for waivers, no need for saviors. Don't be frightened, do not hide. Enter now and enjoy the ride. So step right up, those far and near. The attraction is set. It's Ear for Fear.
Hi, welcome to the Ear for Fear podcast. This is the podcast that talks about scary movies or movies trying to be scary. I'm Rick.
I'm Morris.
Morris and Rick. What is up?
What's up?
What's up, man? How's everything going?
Going pretty good.
You living the dream?
Oh, every single day of my life.
Every day. Oh, man. Well, thanks for coming on out, dude. You and I are going to be doing 2023's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Which
Sharpen those knives.
sharpen those knives, right?
Yeah, get ready to carve it up.
There will be no leftovers. Oh, man. Directed by Eli Roth. This just came out, and when this episode comes out, it's going to be on Thanksgiving. I don't know if people are going to listen to us because they're probably going to be like knee-deep in turkey and pumpkin pie and
Probably.
and all tired and shit. So, But maybe if they're driving to some family's house that they don't want to go see, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we gotta take this long drive. Let's put on that Ear for Fear episode of Thanksgiving."
On Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving. Shit. Dude, this was you and I literally just saw this. Yeah. So
back.
I guess, do you want to do a little synopsis? You want me to?
Go ahead.
After a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy, an axe-wielding maniac terrorizes residents of Plymouth, Massachusetts. I think that's pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah, totally.
I guess full spoilers?
Yeah.
1, 2, spoilers coming for you.
And really, the full spoilers on this one really kind of applies, right?
Yeah, because, if people want to see this first, since this isn't a movie that's been out for a while, normally we review stuff that it's either a classic or it's been out for a few years or even a few months. Yeah, this one's pretty fresh. So.
This one's pretty fresh. I would say it's tough, man, because before I even jump into it, I would say absolutely go for people to go see this because I enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah.
I felt like this was a good good slasher, you know.
It's a good
I kind of
callback to the era of slashers.
I hope it's like a resurgence of slashers.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're ever going to get that, but it'd be really cool if we did.
Not like the 90s, because 90s really tried to do that.
Yeah, they tried to do a Scream and some other shit, but yeah. I mean, it's never going to be like if the 80s, you know, the kind of, what was it, 82? Is that what we said? 82 is kind of the height of the slasher?
81, in my opinion.
81?
Yeah.
81? Yeah, that was a good year for slashers.
Oh, yeah.
It would be kind of cool if there was like a resurgence, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Eli Roth, I think, is... he is obviously a huge fan of horror, so I think, you know, him doing it kind of, I don't know. I think he did it justice, and I think he knew enough of the slashers and the recipe to kind of make one work, you know, and you know,
he totally with a lot of the callbacks and homages to a lot of classic movies that we've seen before. We were just calling them out as they were up on the screen. So
it was good though, dude. I really enjoyed this movie. Like as we go along, I only had one small gripe, and that was literally the end. And that was, dude, it was literally 2 seconds. Other than that, I think this was a really good movie. You and I were trying to figure out who the killer was, and we pretty much nailed it. We kept going, looking at each other, going, "Well, we think it's so and so."
Yeah,
and we were right. It just made sense that, you know. And so yeah, like I said, if you haven't seen the movie and you're listening to this, we're going to tell you the killer is, and I kind of think you should go see the movie first and then come listen, because
maybe we'll give it away a little bit later
if we can. We'll try. They'll try to do our best. But okay, so directed by Eli Roth, just came out. It was initially a kind of a dummy trailer from the 2007 Grindhouse. Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez.
It played in between Planet Terror and Death Proof. Along with Don't and Werewolf Women of the SS and.
I remember that one.
And a couple others I can't really remember, because I know the Machete was like the first one.
Oh,
that
that's
played
right
before Planet Terror.
Yeah,
that was like the
was,
only one.
Yeah,
and then there was like maybe 3 or 4 that played in the middle of the 2 features.
Yeah,
and Thanksgiving was, and dude, such a callback to, like, you know, because there's such an aesthetic to late 70s and early 80s. I would have to say 70s from like 76 or even 75, because it had kind of a feel like Black Christmas, you know?
It did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so 75, 74, 75 to about 81, 82. Anything past 82, it didn't have that feel.
Yeah, I agree with you. It didn't.
Yeah, because he really nailed that grindhousey feel of that, you know, with that trailer, you know, that mock trailer.
It was very it looked old, it looked beat up. It had that it really did have, to me, I felt like it had a 70s feel to it, the trailer itself. And then you have that kind of voice.
Yeah.
The voice is important when you do a trailer like that.
Totally.
You know, certain people can do them and it's like, oh shit, like, you know.
I can't remember the guy. He used to be someone I knew in the forefront of my mind, but the one man that used to do a lot of those voiceovers.
I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I can't think of his name either, but he used to, man, he did like, not kidding, he did like 90% of all trailers from genre trailers from back in the day.
Yeah.
If it was sci-fi.
Oh, he had a very
horror,
distinct voice, and I don't know why. I looked him up one day, and I just because I wanted to do some, like, I don't know, research on him or something, and I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But that voice was so iconic, man.
Yeah, and that was kind of harkening back to that. You know, with that trailer.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, man, this was a fun little movie, dude. Yeah. I enjoyed. Some of the killings were fucking good. They were creative.
They were very creative.
And you know, and they were, I mean, obviously kind of some of them were Thanksgiving related.
Yeah. Which was really cool. I mean, especially towards, I would say, you know, the probably the latter part of the movie, you know. But no, dude, this was really good. I mean, it starts out right. They're having there's a local, what is it called? Right Mart? I think it was called Right Mart. Yeah.
Owned by a guy, I think his name was Thomas Wright, and then he refused to close on Thanksgiving, and he's doing all these sales that, of course, we've come to. I don't know if they're as popular as they were. Yeah, I think people are still doing them these days, but I don't feel like it's as crazy as it was.
Oh yeah, like late 90s, early 2000s, they did that. You know, the first, 50 people through the door get the toaster or whatever for $5, or
it's free,
yeah.
And that's kind of what they did here, right? Yep. It was like the first 100 people got a waffle maker.
Yes,
and these people were fucking bananas, man. Like, it got so bad, and I felt, and I think I'm pretty sure it was intentional, that they just seemed really over the top. Like,
they were.
Would that really happen? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, we've seen videos.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I think with this movie, obviously, Eli Roth had kind of a slight camp to it.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't as campy as his mock trailer, but and also anybody that's familiar with the mock trailer that was in Grindhouse, it had the cigarette burns. It was
yes.
it was scratched up.
Yes. What is that called? I don't even know what that's called. But I was trying to think of the
the cigarette burn kind of look, and and the scratches and the pops. But yeah, this was played straight like today. It wasn't from back in the day. This is like now,
Yeah. See, before we saw this, and I think I was talking about this maybe yesterday, I felt when I first saw the trailer, I'm like, yeah, it looks cool, but I feel like maybe it would have worked better if it was late 70s, early 80s. But then watching the movie, I take that back. I felt it was necessary to do it.
Yeah.
Because you have the whole story of the Black Friday and people going crazy, and then which really results into this killer kind of seeking some sort of revenge, you know, is because of the result of that.
Exactly.
And so I was like, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I love stuff that when you make a movie and it might be right now, but it has that feel of that the whole 70s or 80s, and it's hard to capture that. I felt Eli Roth could have captured that if he tried, but like I said, it made more sense because I don't recall in the late 70s or early 80s there even being a Black Friday type of thing like that, where people are getting trampled on or beat up for again, like you said, a waffle maker or toaster or something,
or a small TV,
TV,
like a 24 inch TV. It's like, do you really need that? No. Nobody needs that.
No. So the Right Mart is having this sale, and all these people are just jonesing to get inside, and I think her name is Jessica and her friend. So Jessica's dad is Thomas Wright, and he owns the store. So they needed to stop in really quick to pick up something before they went and saw a movie.
Right.
Now, mind you, hundreds and hundreds of people are lined up out there, and they're getting a little antsy, and they want in. Well, they look inside the store and see Jessica and her friends, and they're kind of taunting them, like, haha, we're inside the store. And they went in through the back door because her dad owns the store.
Right.
And it just kind of riled them up more. They kind of pushed the gates back and literally broke the windows to this, I guess this, whatever. I almost think it's kind of like a Walmart or something.
It almost reminds me of like a cross between like a Walmart and like a Best Buy.
Best Buy, okay.
Yeah, like a combination of the two.
Yeah. So they break in. The glass door falls onto one of the security guards. And then you got the glass sticking out, and then one customer basically gets his throat slashed.
Yeah, he just.
But he's still wandering around trying to find that waffle maker. And then you got other people that are they have their carts, and one lady, and I think what was her name? Was her name Lizzie? Was that Lizzie?
Yeah.
That was, what's her name? The actress, Gershon?
Gina Gershon.
Yeah. So she's married to the guy who is like a manager at this store. And he gets called into work. And she comes by to bring him some turkey.
Yeah.
He didn't get a chance to eat any.
Yeah, he didn't get to actually sit down and have dinner. So she set him aside a little leftover care pack.
And so she ends up getting basically killed, trampled on by a couple crazy customers with like a shopping cart.
And they don't even see her.
No, not at all.
And they're running over her hair and ripping back
her scalps. I think the scalp got stuck to one of the like wheels, and oh my God, dude.
It was nasty.
Yeah, so Sheriff is there. What is his name? It's Patrick Dempsey, but what's his? Is it Sheriff Erickson or what is it?
Sheriff Eric Newton.
Eric Newton. Okay.
Yeah.
Sheriff Eric. So he's there because he's the sheriff, and he kind of came to help with some of the crowd control.
But he brought the wife there.
Yeah,
from
Lizzie. Yeah.
No.
Is her name Lizzie?
No.
Gabby. Gabby.
Gina Gershon was, oh my gosh, Amanda.
Was it Amanda?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is right there. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, I wrote it down. Amanda. Yeah. So oh man, what a mess. So a bunch of people die. Really no repercussions to the owner.
Yeah.
Right? Supposedly all the footage disappeared from the security camera.
Yeah, and nobody was prosecuted.
Nothing.
Yeah, for any of the crimes, any of the carnage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then it's a year later, and basically it's Thanksgiving is approaching, and I guess we start seeing some killings.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is so in the mock trailer, the killer, he's really dressed up like a pilgrim.
Yeah.
And with the whole total accurate pilgrim outfit.
Yeah.
And the brim of the hat is cast such a shadow over his eyes. You can only see like his mouth. And I kind of like that aesthetic from the mock trailer.
Yeah.
Well, this is a little different. He has a pilgrim hat, but he's all dressed in black with black gloves.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really have a pilgrim outfit. It's just like a black outfit. Kind of like almost like a black suit. But it's not pilgrim-like.
It reminded me a little bit of the miner's outfit in My Bloody Valentine, just the black itself.
Yeah.
I was okay with it, man.
And it almost reminded me of the Cupid from Valentine.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was just completely black. And then he has the plastic mask, the string mask over his face of John Carver, who was like a famous pilgrim.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's funny. It's almost a double entendre with the John Carver, Carver.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but he was a famous pilgrim.
Yeah, so I mean, I was cool with the get up. It seems like nowadays most of these movies have some sort of mask some way or another.
Yeah, like Happy Death Day.
Happy Death Day does it. I mean, dude,
like we just
Strangers. I think they did some of those, but I mean, there's a lot of them like
You're
that.
Next.
You're Next.
Yeah.
I know we saw something else that had a mask. I can't think of it right now, but didn't Totally Killer have a mask too? Yeah, Totally Killer. Did you watch?
Oh, yeah,
they had.
that's right.
It had a plastic mask too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's whatever. I don't know. I guess what are you gonna do? Like you either do what the trailer did back in the day, which is just only show, say, the mouth, and you don't give away who the killer is, or you just put a mask over.
Yeah. And I think that was the best way, because I'll be honest, even though we guessed the killer, there was a couple times where I kind of second guessed it in the beginning. Yeah. I'm like, well, the frame of the killer is kind of small.
Yeah.
And it possibly could be a woman,
It could be. Yeah.
But, all our suspects, we all kept them at, regular eye level. But it's almost like I was telling you, Eli Roth is good at throwing like a curveball.
Yeah.
Because, you can show like, the killer was like a certain height. And we're like, okay, well, the killer's not very tall. So it
can't be so-and-so.
Yeah. But then possibly at the very end, it is so-and-so. And it's like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. Almost like when you see stunt people and it's what was the famous stunt person where it was a woman and then it ended up being like the stunt person was like a black guy.
In the movie?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you, sucker. Yeah, remember it was what's her name from Good Times? The next door neighbor. Willona.
Yeah.
And she was the mother of Keenan Ivory Wayans, and then she comes into the restaurant where kind of Keenan Ivory Wayans is kind of, I don't know, love interest is working, I think, and these guys come in and they don't want to beat him up, and the mom comes in and she like turns around and does like flips, and all of a sudden it's like a white guy with like I want to say he had like a mustache on or something as the stunt person, and of course it was intentional. But it was hella funny. So yeah,
but I could see Eli Roth doing that, just throwing a curveball.
I feel like in these movies, because we've seen so many of them, it's always fun to try to figure out who it is, know, and I felt like he did stuff on purpose, right? Like where I think Bobby was the boyfriend at the beginning, and then his arm got he's a pitcher, he plays baseball, and he had like a 90 something mile an hour fastball, and more than likely he'd say he'd go pro, right? Well, during that riot, he basically his right hand gets crushed.
Yeah.
And then he disappears, and you're like, oh, it's going to be him. And I'm like, that's just too obvious.
Right.
It's way too obvious,
Oh, like we were pointing out, like the beginning of this movie starts out like Halloween. It has it has the POV with a house.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the POV of the house, and that kind of, I mean, I don't want to give it away yet, but whoever's at the front door,
it really gave it right. If you think about it,
yeah,
Eli Roth only took a second to tell us who the killer was,
right?
And if you're really paying attention, you're going to find out,
right?
And I did like that. I'd like that little homage. I like it when they pay homage just a little bit, just so that you and I sit there and we go, oh, that's so cool, and that's from that. Not so much where it's like, really, like you just overdid it, and you're shoving it down our throat, and yeah. So, and I actually didn't even think about it until you just mentioned it. We knew it was an homage to Halloween, but immediately tells you who the friggin' killer is.
Because Halloween. If everybody's seen Halloween, I'm sure.
So. Anyone listening to us has.
Yeah, the POV is of Michael Myers as a little boy walking up to the house. So, yeah, it's kind of funny. It played that, and then it was like just a normal scene.
Just a normal scene.
Yeah. And then the door opened, and it's like, oh, come on in.
Yeah.
And then, like you were saying with the Bobby thing disappearing, that totally reminded me of My Bloody Valentine with TJ taking off. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
And, and then, she ends up with Axel, and.
Yeah. And because Bobby disappears, right? And it's for like a year because it's the next year, and then all of a sudden she's with that Ryan guy.
Yeah,
he's kind of a douche.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, he seemed kind of douchey, but maybe he wasn't as bad as we thought he was. He just Ryan and Bobby had that little beef, Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he came off to me like probably this rich kid that everything was kind of handed to him,
right?
But maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
But he didn't care that she was with Bobby. He was telling the other kid that, I'm going to make her mine and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did, I guess.
Yeah, he did.
And then so some of the other friends, right? We got, is it Evan?
Evan, yeah.
Evan and Scuba.
Yeah, Evan was kind of a douchey guy, too.
Yeah, he was kind of like that jockey guy feels like he's on roids, and he's just kind of a dick, and he's mean to everybody. And so you're like, if he dies, you're like, whatever. He's kind of an asshole.
Actually, there was a lot of people in this movie. I'm like, I couldn't wait for them to die.
Yeah, they were kind of like, I know Scuba didn't die, but I was kind of like, well, you're kind of a dick too, And I don't think any of the women, like I think, what was her name? Was it Yulia? Yulia? Kind of like Julia, but Yulia?
I think because it was like...
And her and Scuba were together,
Russian,
right? Yeah. And then, what was the other friend? Was the other friend Gabby or Lizzie?
Lizzie was the diner lady.
Diner lady, yeah.
And I couldn't wait for her to
with
die.
that fake, like, almost like Boston accent.
Yeah.
Like you could tell her and Patrick Dempsey were really trying to do the accent, and it wasn't that great.
And it wasn't working.
It really wasn't.
Yeah.
And then who was Gabby? Was Gabby one of the friends?
I think so.
Yeah, forgive us. We just literally saw this.
Yeah. Actually,
it was one of the other friends, right?
Gabby was the other friend. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. Because there was 3 girls and basically 3 guys.
Yeah, Gabby was the one that was kind of forgettable.
She was. Yes, that's probably why we can't remember.
Because I was saying she's the other brunette. That's not.
And she survives.
That's not the main girl.
She survives, and she was very forgettable. Like, she only had a few lines, and we just didn't care.
Yeah.
Like if she would have died, we're like, whatever.
Yeah.
Who was that died?
Who was that chick? Oh yeah. Don't remember.
But so the killer is basically seeking revenge on what had happened the year earlier.
Yeah.
And the killer starts out with Lizzie in the diner, and this was a pretty cool. This was a pretty cool little kill. From the trailer, I thought she was going to get an axe.
Oh yeah,
because she's locking up, and I think he stabs her in the hand or something, and he grabs her and
Dunks her underneath the water.
Yeah, and
like
then,
the sink water.
Yeah, and then slams her against the freezer where it's super cold. And I thought, and she's peeling away her, her cheek and her hand. And I thought he was going to take an axe to her. Well, she gets away, and then she ends up outside, and the killer is coming at her with the car. And she jumps into the dumpster and somehow gets cut in half.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Oh, so
is it because when he hit the...
Yeah, he pushed her with the car.
Yeah.
And then the lid of
the lid came down and cut her in half. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
The top part was inside of the dumpster.
Yes.
And her bottom part was just oozing down the side of the dumpster.
I would say that's a creative kill.
That was pretty creative.
Can you remember us seeing a kill like that in any other movie?
No, the one that comes close is that was that cool to me was Wrong Turn 2. In the beginning, it had a reality TV star, and she was on her way to this kind of like a Amazing Race / Survivor kind of TV show that they were going to film out in the woods. Obviously, they didn't know where the cannibalistic hillbillies are.
Yeah,
but yeah, she stops her car because the road's blocked, and then she turns around and one of the killers cuts her with an axe all the way down the middle, and then her two sides split open.
Oh yeah,
and hit and and the prosthetic was so cool it wiggled and all the ooze came out.
But I feel like we've seen something like okay, so
13 Ghosts.
13 Ghosts comes to mind, and then Ghost Ship, and then one of the Final Destinations when the thing explodes and the barbed wire comes and it cuts the dude in.
Oh yeah,
remember?
Yes.
Like, so I feel like we've seen kind of like that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's not cool because I do like that.
Yeah,
this just seemed a little different because typically a slasher, they kill you in certain ways, right?
Yeah.
The fact that it happened kind of with the car and a dumpster, I thought that was pretty cool.
And I'm sure the killer didn't intend on that happening.
No, I think the idea was to kill her inside the restaurant with the axe. And
the funny thing too, it played up to the camp of the fact that he was in the diner, he was chasing her, she runs out. It's like, how did he get in that car without her seeing him getting into the car? I mean, because the car was actually far down into the parking lot of the diner. But
she was inside that room for a bit, and the door did close.
Okay.
And it was kind of foggy. Remember it was kind of had that mist and fog.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
That's true.
But again, with all these movies, what do we always say?
Yeah.
Just suspend belief, man. I just thought it was a cool kill. And then the killer leaves. The killer leaves the
bottom half.
He grabs. So he grabs the head and puts the bottom part of the torso, the legs and stuff on top of the sign for that right mark.
Yeah,
and I thought that was kind of
cool.
That
was cool.
Like, I mean, it just
like a calling card.
It just had like a different feel than a normal slasher, and I thought it was creative.
Yeah.
I felt like all of these kills were...
It was a little tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
Little, like, haha funny, but at the same time, they played it serious.
Yes.
It wasn't like trauma kind of stuff.
No, not at all.
But at the same time, just teetering on trauma. But obviously with more realism.
Yeah, definitely better acting.
Oh yeah, way better acting.
I mean, not to knock on trauma, not at all, because I mean we do enjoy some of the trauma stuff.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was I thought it was cool. I thought it was creative. I'm trying to think what was the next kill.
Well, you think about it, all the kills that were in the mock trailer. Mm-hmm. They did in the movie.
They did.
Every single one.
Yeah, because in the original trailer they had the woman bouncing on the trampoline.
Yeah,
I didn't think they were going to do that.
They did it.
They did it in a different way.
But
I thought it was really good too. What was the next kill, dude? Do you remember? Was it?
Were they the next kill?
I don't know if they were the next.
Oh no, it was the.
It was the security guy that bounced.
Tim Dillon.
Yeah, so he was there the year prior, at the Black Friday sale, and he basically left.
Yeah.
So he could have been there to help.
He's like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
And he left.
Yeah.
And so, he got it. That was, dude. That kill was pretty sweet, too.
That was. And
because he was leaving the country. Do you think he was leaving the country because of what was going on? He was like, fuck, I got to get out of here.
I got to get out of here.
And so he gets basically a one of those electric carving knives to the stomach.
Right.
And then, oh my God, this was cool. Then the killer takes like the wire and puts it, what's the wire?
Is it a Garrett?
Is that what it's called? I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But puts it around his neck and then twists and basically boom and decapitates him.
Yeah.
The body's just kind of sitting there, and then dude, the little electric knife is still going on.
Oh my God, that was funny.
Dude. That was good though. I thought that was hella creative, dude. Again, like I'm super, because we've seen so many of these movies and we start seeing the same kills. And I was like, I felt like these were creative. Like we haven't seen stuff like this, you know?
Yeah.
But and then of course the killer is messaging the kids that really
almost like a I know what you did last summer kind of way.
Very much. There's a lot of different movies that are happening here.
Yeah, and even Sorority Row, they did the same thing with the text messaging. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
if you think about it, I mean, a little bit at the very end of the movie, I will get there, but a happy birthday to me. You know, everything's around the table.
Yes,
you know what I mean. So it had a little bit of that. But again, not so much that it was just like, you know, like we rolled our eyes, like, come on, you know, just a little bit of hints of stuff. And then the killer's messaging, you know, all of them and sends a picture of the two heads on the table.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
The sheriff, Eric, or, you know, Patrick Dempsey, you know, he's trying to figure out who the killer could be. And of course, he's talking to Bobby and Jessica, trying to get information on, like, okay, you guys were there. You know, what can you remember? What can you tell us? And then she decides that, you know, I think I can hack into my dad's, you know, computer and get that footage. Yeah, that supposedly disappeared. Yeah,
because I think the expiration on that is like a year.
Yeah,
she can probably find that stuff, and she does. And then she with Bobby take it back to the sheriff. Yeah.
And they mentioned to the sheriff that there was a couple people that they felt, you know, instigated it as well, which was I don't even remember the guy's name, but was he from like another town, or was he from another school or something?
Definitely another school.
And him and his girlfriend.
Yeah. And
so
they were the ones that were like, that grabbed the bullhorn from the sheriff, and it's like, it's open now, and made everybody stampede.
Yeah.
And
so
I can't think of his name, but
I don't remember his name or his girlfriend's name. I remember she was a cheerleader, or she's a cheerleader at another school. And so we kind of cut to whatever school, and some local college, it looks like.
Yeah.
And the boyfriend is some sort of, I don't, what is he, like a trainer or something? And but it seemed like none of them took him seriously, because once he left the room, they were laughing at him.
Yeah.
But his girlfriend comes and grabs him, and she wants to put on a little show for him. Killer immediately, and again, this is what I love, dude, because we've seen this in those old, you know, like, for instance, Hell Night comes to mind, right? Where someone with, I'm not saying superhuman strength, basically can twist your head around.
Yeah.
You know, and we get that with this boyfriend. Immediately killer twists his head around. Then his girlfriend is jumping on the trampoline, knife through the bottom, and yeah. So again, pretty cool stuff, dude.
It's funny that trainer guy, he reminded me of, if this was made like 20 years ago, what's his name? Sean William Scott. Stifler.
Oh, Stifler, yeah.
Yeah, he would have been playing that role.
He would have been playing,
right?
That's pretty funny. Yeah, I guess
he had kind of that Stifler kind of feel
a
to
little
him.
bit, a little bit, with like some Boston accent. You know, yeah.
They all needed to take some acting cues from Ben Affleck.
Yes.
Because he can really go
absolutely
into his Boston accent, like, without a doubt.
Yeah, so can his brother.
Yeah.
Is it Casey?
Casey, yeah.
Casey Affleck? Yeah, I felt like they could have done a better job with the accent. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. It didn't take away from the movie. And for all we know, Morris, maybe that was all intentional too.
Yeah.
Maybe Eli Roth was because Patrick Dempsey's a good actor. So I think if he had to do a really good Boston accent, he could do it. So maybe it was on. Eli's like,
it was on purpose.
I don't want it to be really good. Just kind of
just kind of make it to where it's kind of crap, like late 70s, early 80s, kind of crappy.
Yeah. Let's see. That was at the school,
right?
And then they go to the school because the football game is canceled. And I think Jessica and Scuba and is it Gabby, the one that we seem to keep forgetting?
Gabby, yeah.
They basically they're going to the bathroom and they get drugged.
Yeah.
And we're not quite sure what happened to them. Are they dead? Are they not dead? And then Jessica goes to find them because she got a text message. Hey, come here, please. And so she goes, and then the killer is after her.
Yeah, and that totally reminded me of Scream.
Yeah.
It totally reminded me of like the bathroom scene
Definitely.
from Scream where she's left alone with the killer and the killer's like running after her
Yeah.
and she's like outmaneuvering him and ducking and shit.
And towards the end, there's more of like Scream.
Yeah, totally.
And so she hides in this, it looks like a room where it could be like a class for something with hair or makeup because there was all those
like a beauty
or something like that. And so
school.
And so she hides in kind of there's all these styrofoam heads with like say wigs on them and stuff, and so she basically tries to hide out, and
as one of the heads.
Yeah, as one of the heads, she goes to grab some scissors, hits like a bottle of Aquanet or something. I threw out Aquanet because that's the only hairspray I could think of. That would have been cool if he used Aquanet as the hairspray.
Oh, dude,
that would have been a total throwback. Damn, I feel like that's a missed opportunity right there. I don't even know if Aquanet's even around anymore. I can't imagine.
I think it is.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think I've seen it at Sally's.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh man, we got to get a bottle or a can to stick it right here, dude. And so she gets away. She sprays the killer with some sort of hairspray. Mm-hmm. And she gets away, and at this point, her and I think so they don't know where Evan is his name Evan? Which one is the guy that? Yeah, Evan. They don't know where Evan and Gabby are.
Gabby.
So Scuba and Yulia, in the meantime, her dad comes to get her and like, yeah, we're going to Florida. We're getting out of here.
Yeah.
And
her dad's got that thick kind of maybe Russian accent.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And so they go home, pack up to leave. Scuba and Jessica go to what was the guy that was throwing the party that has the guns? What was his name? Like, it started with like an MC, like McGrady or McCarver or something. I don't know what the heck it was.
Oh shit! What was his name?
But he has guns.
Yeah.
And Scuba wants a gun to protect themselves.
McCarty.
Right? McCarty? Okay, yeah. So it was something. And so they go get a gun, and they're driving to. It looks like they're driving to Yulia's so they can say goodbye.
And then he said, remember that McCarty guy says, make sure you put on safety or you're going to blow your balls off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So then, dude, this is fucked up. So the killer, the killer only seemed to be after the people responsible. So like the cop that was there and the dad, they just got tranquilized.
Yeah.
And Yulia was, I think she was getting ready, and she got those little corn holders to the ear.
Yeah.
And
I like the fact that they kind of muffled the sound.
Yes.
It made you think of like that's what she was hearing was muffled sound.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely, man. And so when Scuba and Jessica get there, because they were FaceTiming, the killer's there, and the killer has a knife to her.
And you know what that reminded me of? I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
So maybe you're not as familiar with it, but Scream 4. So when one of the friends, she's in her bedroom, and then the ghost face, gets her in the bedroom, and they're like on the phone with their friend, and they can see that she's getting attacked, but they can't do anything about it. That almost reminded me of the same thing, because she's getting attacked and they see her. It's like, oh my God. Let's get to her. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a horrible feeling. I don't remember if I saw Scream 4. Dude, I kind of gave up on Scream.
Yeah.
I don't even know what are they up to now. 6 or 7 or something?
They're making 7.
7. Dude, I gave up, man. Stop with all the sequels, people.
Yeah.
But they get there. She's still alive. And the killer's got a knife to her throat, dude. And this is... Fuck, dude, this was messed up, man.
Yeah.
Because...
So
Scuba, goes to... He's not sure what to do. Like... So he goes to shoot. Of course, it's on
the safety.
Safety.
Oh, and then we have to say that I think that Yulia's dad was maybe doing some remodeling.
Yes.
In the house, and there's like a table saw.
Oh fuck, dude.
Yeah.
That was. So the killer
There's
basically
a rotary table saw.
Yes, the killer kicks on the saw and throws her on top of it.
And first cuts her hand.
Cuts the fingers off.
Yeah, the fingers go.
And then she falls on top of it, and it's just fuck. It just basically guts her too. Again, very creative.
Yeah.
Like we've seen Saw stuff, right? But I felt like this was a different take on it.
Yeah. And then what's his name? Scuba's like, she's gonna be all right, right?
Yeah, what do I do?
What
I'm
do
like,
I do?
dude, you do nothing.
She's dead.
Dude, all her like intestines and everything are just kind of hanging out, dude. That was fucked up, man.
That was messed up. Cool kill though.
It was a cool kill though. This is what I'm digging about this movie is I just felt like they took some of the stuff that was done before and they just put a little new twist on it and made it, I guess, more current or something. And that's what I really liked about it.
You know what's funny is thinking about this now that you're saying that. What Eli Roth did is he pulled a Quentin.
Yeah.
He took favorite parts of famous slashers and put them together like Quentin does with famous parts of certain genre movies.
And in a way this is what Quentin does. He makes it his own.
Even
though because he borrows or pays homage to these things. But he makes it his own, and I think Eli Roth did that, and he did it really well with this.
And he's obviously a friend of Quentin. So.
Oh, of course. Yeah. So then, all right. So they kind of come together, right? Well, let's see if we can trap the killer. We're gonna do the Thanksgiving, parade, and this is what we're gonna do, and they have a plan, And at this point,
dude, I know what you did last summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When she was on the float.
And
then she looks in the crowd and she sees all the pilgrims, just like the rain slicker, fishermen.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people are dressed like this
pilgrim.
Yeah.
And that mask is pretty popular. The John Carver.
Oh yeah, like everyone's
plastic mask.
What did Sheriff Eric say? Everyone's going to be wearing it or something like that, or I forget what he said, but dude, I mean, as this is playing out, there's still this not positive, but we kept saying through the whole I don't know how many different times we turned to each other and it has to be so and so.
Yeah,
it just makes sense.
It does make sense,
And so the plan is. The Jessica and her stepmom and her dad, and then I think a few other people. I think Scuba's on the float, and the idea is you're going to go on the float, do the float. As you come back, it's kind of like a trap. As you come back to this warehouse where probably all the float stuff is stored, we'll be waiting,
right?
And see if we can trap the killer.
And this is Sheriff Eric's plan.
Sheriff Eric's plan. Yep. And so then the parade starts, and
then we're watching all the pilgrims like walking into frame, and then remember we see the husband that was the manager of the store from last year.
Yeah, where it was his wife who was killed.
Right.
Yeah.
So we see him like putting on the mask with the hat.
But we know it's not him because you can tell by the build of the killer.
Yeah, he's a little too husky.
He's husky, man, and he's a little taller, and we're like, we know it's not him. The way the movie played, it could be at least 3 or 4 different people.
But we were pointing at one person.
We were pointing at one the whole time.
Yeah.
And so...
so he gets in the middle of the parade with a bunch of other friends.
With signs.
Pilgrims.
Yeah, with little signs like, I forget what it said. Something about Thanksgiving or something.
Yeah. Right Mart, something. No,
something.
Yeah.
Some protest.
Yeah.
Some protest. They basically stop the parade for a second. One of the cops comes to, or the deputies comes to kind of get them out of the way.
Them.
And then this clown.
So, well, hold on. So you gotta mention the fact that we have the turkey mascot.
The turkey mascot. I forget what was his name, but
I don't know.
I mean, he was so happy. He was in his costume and he was really enjoying this parade.
And it played like the mock trailer,
yes.
where it was almost the same costume. It could have been the same costume.
It could have been.
And, and we know how the mock trailer played that situation. So, we're thinking, okay, well, Pilgrim's going to cut off his head like it did in the mock trailer. Not this time.
No, dude.
It's a fucking...
I did not, I'll be honest, I didn't think they were going to do that.
Yeah.
I honestly thought, okay, well, I guess I knew something would probably happen, but I just didn't think in broad daylight like that. Like the clown basically comes up, decapitates the kid who's playing this turkey. He's just... The thing was, was he part of...
I don't remember.
Was he part of what happened at the thing?
Wait, was it the little guy playing the turkey? Remember the little guy? The one that always wanted to be, the one that was McCarty's like.
No,
it wasn't.
It wasn't. But so I almost felt like he was there, and I'm trying to. This would take a couple watches for us.
Yeah,
and so maybe that's why he did get decapitated, because he was there.
Maybe he was involved somehow.
The clown basically decapitates him. Then someone slams on the brakes, and I think something went through.
Oh yeah, because they have on the float. It was like a mock-up of the Mayflower. And it was the mask.
Right. Yes.
And the mask goes through the freaking back of the truck, through the driver's head. And dude, that was awesome.
That was pretty awesome.
It was all gooey and
dude, it was just spurting out.
And it played,
and the two little girls
like, Final Destination 2.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I would say more so, like worse. More gore.
Yeah, way more gore.
Because when the woman got it in Final Destination 2, it wasn't as bad as that.
Yeah.
And then the two little girls, they're just chilling there. And
this is probably was this their dad? Probably their dad.
I was like, holy shit! Dude.
And they're getting sprayed with their dad's blood.
Dude, it was pretty. It was pretty gnarly, but it was cool.
But didn't we think at that moment there could have been 2 killers?
We did. We thought, okay,
well, maybe, the clown is one and maybe the pilgrim is another.
Yeah, but I think again, it was on purpose to try to throw us off.
Yeah, and then he used like a dart gun, like a
tranquilizer,
and threw them all in the car together.
Yeah.
He like stole a cop car.
Cop car, yeah.
Or
sheriff's vehicle.
Sheriff's vehicle. And then the next scene we see is the stepmom on the table.
Yeah. And being basted. She's being basted.
And that's why I kind of almost thought for a moment when you said, is there 2? Because we see the being basted by the pilgrim again.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
it's just
shit.
It's just being just the way they filmed it.
Yeah.
Like it's to throw you off a little bit.
But
this is where it can kind of confirmed it for me, because if you remember at the beginning of the movie, and again, we're going to get close to revealing who the killer is, but at the very beginning of the movie, there was a scene, and the person who ends up being the killer said, "I'm something about like I'm a very good cook for a single person."
Yeah.
So then when the killer was basting the stepmom and putting like I think it was herbs and stuff, and I was salt, like, it just confirmed it for me. And so basically turns on the oven, but again,
dude, that was a huge oven.
Huge oven. And she got away. And, you know,
there was a lot of cat and mouse with
a little bit.
Yeah.
A little. I didn't think there would be that much. I almost felt like none of that was really necessary.
Yeah.
Like if there's only a couple things, and that to me just seemed like,
Unless they were trying to make you think, well, not us, but people that are not as aware of slashers, maybe thinking that she was going to get away, you know?
Yeah. And she almost did.
She almost did.
And then they kill her through the pitchfork. Dude, this was cool.
Yeah.
Like it's broad daylight, right? And she's coming out of the front door, and the killer throws the pitchfork, gets her in the back, and the killer basically grabs her and just pulls her with the pitchfork still in her back and throws her in the oven and cooks her ass.
Almost like stabbing like a piece of turkey with a fork.
Yes, and pulling it.
Pulling across the plate.
And cooks her ass, and that was kind of messed up. But it wasn't done in a way that it just was hard to watch. Like it wasn't. It was.
No.
I know it's going to sound weird because you're cooking a human being, but it was done tastefully. Does that even make sense, man?
Well, yeah, because it wasn't done super graphic to where you wanted to throw up. It wasn't done like Human Centipede 2 or Serbian Film, where it's played realistic.
Yeah.
It's almost like I said, little tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
Teetering on trauma, but better effects.
Yeah.
And, almost like, I've always said this before, like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street movies, even when the gore would happen in those movies, it's watchable because they're easy to digest. It's not stuff that makes you feel that uncomfortable.
Yeah. Very
and
true.
that's how the gore was treated like in these movies.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's obviously people are being killed, but at the same time, it's not at a point where you're like, oh my God, I can't watch that.
Yeah,
that's a one-time watch
I never
for me.
really felt that way through this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not at all. And so she gets cooked. Then they're trying to pinpoint where the killer is. They're running a feed from a place. And so they track it down to this, I don't know, it looked like some industrial area. And
when we say they, it was like the police force.
Yeah.
I mean, the sheriff's office.
And so when they get there, it's just another cell phone that's running a different feed. And the reality is the killer's with, because Jessica and her dad and a few of the other friends got drugged, and they're now at this table.
Right.
And they're tied up and gagged and stuff. And at the table are the people who've basically been killed.
Yeah.
That's what reminded me of Happy Birthday to Me.
Oh, totally.
Absolutely. And so they kind of come to, and the killer is there, but it has, you could tell the voice is different. Because you and I think pretty much at this point, we knew who the killer was.
Yeah.
We really did through most of the movie, but
Yeah.
it kind of confirmed it for me. But it doesn't sound like who the killer is. It doesn't sound like their voice. And of course,
and they're using a voice synthesizer
Yeah.
like Ghostface would.
Yeah. And so it starts talking and all these other things and some cool little stuff like that the killer is saying, you know.
Right.
And it brings out it has the fucking stepmom.
Oh my God.
It's on the middle of the table.
Oh
pulls
the
And then she looks like a fucking turkey, but all big. Like it was kind of like I said, it was kind of cool,
like the mock trailer.
Yeah,
but not
as
graphic as the mock trailer.
Definitely not as graphic, but it still looked cool. Like
because I want to say the mock trailer, it was a fatter person.
I don't remember, dude.
Because
it's been so long.
The drumstick, the legs were thicker.
Were thicker.
Yeah.
Oh my God. when the killer cut a piece off to feed it to the dad, it looked like fucking turkey.
It did look like
turkey. Like turkey, dude.
Which is funny because if that was true, it would have been red meat. You know,
yes,
it wouldn't have been white.
No,
turkey meat.
Not at all. Not at all. But
it would have been funny if he would have said, now, whatever the dad's name, I can't remember.
It was Thomas.
Now, Thomas,
right?
Tell me, do you want a Light piece or dark piece?
Yes.
That would have been funny, dude.
Yeah, something like that. I think
Since you're not answering, I'll give you a light piece. And then you served him a light piece.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
Oh, dude, that was pretty good. But then as the killer's doing his little spiel, he goes to, well, I'm going to go around the table and everyone tell me what you're thankful for. And then he goes to Evan. And Evan kind of, in a sense, if you think of it, he was kind of douchey, but he was kind of the cause of most of this.
Yeah.
And this is all being like streamed while this is happening.
Yeah.
And so he pulls out that, what the hell was that, dude?
Oh,
it's
a meat tenderizer.
Meat tenderizer, dude.
It's a big mallet.
Oh, shit.
Where it's clawed on one end and flat on another.
Fuck, dude. He takes it to his head.
Dude, he fucking Negan the hell out of his head.
My God.
It reminded me of like The Walking Dead.
Yeah, but it wasn't, again, it was watchable. It wasn't so over the top to me. Like, I feel like, again, it sounds crazy that I'm saying this because of what we're talking about, but it was done tastefully.
Right.
I mean, a guy's head getting crushed open and stuff coming out.
But it was,
but it wasn't done like where we were uncomfortable, we couldn't watch it. It wasn't like that. And so in the meantime, Jessica cuts the rope, and
she had the little ring from McCarty gave her.
Yeah. And then gives it to Scuba, and they both kind of get away, and the killer goes after them and gets Scuba. I think maybe cuts his arm or his hand or something, and goes to run after her, and she gets over the fence.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of a struggle.
Because she got stuck with...
was it a bracelet or
bracelet,
something?
yeah.
And so then as
she almost got killed.
She almost got killed. So as she goes through the woods or whatever this is, she comes across... again, it's near kind of this industrial area where she sees the sheriff on the ground. And
but before that,
when
she's going across that field, she's getting all those little stickers all over her. Like her feet and her legs.
That's right.
Because it's like a dry field where it's like dry grass with little
what are those things called?
Little foxtails. Foxtails. Like little stickers.
God, I hated those as a kid.
And so she's getting them on her legs and her pants, and she sees the sheriff on the ground. Yeah,
look, it looks like he's been hit. And this is where, I mean, dude, like I said, I was already 90 whatever percent. This was 100% for me.
Yeah, this reminded me of urban legends / Scream.
Yeah. And so the sheriff is on the ground. So she sees someone going in the building, and so
the door's shut.
Yeah, she thinks that's the killer, but and so she gets the sheriff comes to. They go inside. She goes inside I think she goes inside the building, doesn't she?
Oh no, she goes inside the building first, and then the sheriff comes to and kind of startles her, but is behind her and like, hey, I saw Bobby go in there, and Bobby was in there.
Yeah, Bobby was.
Yeah.
Well, we find out that Bobby was.
And she saw Bobby take off the John Carver mask.
Yeah, and that's right. And she went out,
and he looked like he had the dark clothes with the gloves.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit. Well,
we knew though that wasn't the case.
Right.
We knew it was just kind of a bait and switch. It was like you're doing this on purpose.
It was a super bait and switch.
Yeah, and I knew. And so then when Sheriff Eric or Patrick Dempsey comes up, he goes inside, fires a few bullets, and that's kind of it. And they basically call, all the other cops or deputies and stuff, and supposedly the dad and all of them are safe. A little messed up, but they're going to be okay. And and then Sheriff Eric is gonna take her back, and everyone else is gone, and
everyone's gone. Yeah,
and then she remembers Sheriff Eric said earlier on in the movie, "Don't trust anyone," and it's always the details.
It's little details, and she looks down at his pant legs, and he had foxtails and stickers
and stuff. Yeah.
And the only way that he'd get those if he was running through that field too.
Yep. Yeah. Which again, it confirmed. So basically, killer's Patrick Dempsey. Everybody.
Yeah.
It's Sheriff Eric, and
he was the one that showed up at the front door in the beginning of the Halloween like homage, you know, openings. POV
He's the one
shot.
that brought the pie.
Yeah.
What we find out is, and I couldn't figure out. Well, did him and Amanda, were they brother and sister, or was there a love interest? And
I kind of thought he was sweet on her.
was sweet on her because
Yeah.
it wasn't enough of it interaction to figure out what it was.
Yeah.
And yes, they were having an affair. She ended up being pregnant. So when she died at the beginning of the movie,
She died with her baby.
with the baby. So he basically lost both of them.
And she was going to leave her husband.
yes,
Yeah. Because that's what he
Yeah.
had said. That.
And so and it all makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's a cool. Again, you follow that kind of slasher, I don't know, recipe, right?
Yeah.
Like we've seen in so many.
It's a total formula.
Totally a formula, man.
Yeah.
And it works, and it worked on the old slashers, and I believed it worked on this one.
Yeah.
But there's a struggle, right? And Bobby comes back, and him and Jessica are trying to get away from Sheriff Eric in a tow truck. And then I think in the meantime, she turns on some sort of like
It was the helium.
helium
Because,
to blow up the big old
The big
turkey.
And the turkey looked just like the mascot, you know. I thought it was funny.
It did. And then I think he says something like, Sheriff Eric goes, there will be no leftovers. And I was like, okay, it was whatever. And then she says it.
Because that's the tagline
It's the tagline.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm like, but it was said like twice. And I was like, oh.
You know what would be funny is they said it's not cranberry sauce. Like
Yeah.
from Blood Rage.
Yeah, yeah. But she shoots the thing, blows it up. And immediately when it blew up, I turned to you. I said there'll be a sequel.
Yeah.
They won't be able to find him.
They won't find his body.
And they didn't.
Yeah. And
someone goes, well, no one could have survived that. I'm like, how many movies did we hear that
oh
from?
my God.
And so yeah, couldn't find him.
It's always the they come back and they're a little scarred.
Yeah. And so
Phantom of the Mall.
Phantom of the Mall. Yeah. And so I don't know. Her and Ryan are together, and this is like literally the end of the movie. She's sleeping. She hears something. She wakes up and she has this vision of Sheriff Eric grabbing her while he was on fire, which is the only thing that I did not like. Like it was. I'm not going to say cheesy.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of Slaughter High. You know, the end where, you know, the killer comes back and kind of grabs at the nurse. And then also a little bit of like, I Know What You Did Last Summer, you know.
Yes, yeah. I would
where
have been,
he comes crashing through the glass.
Yes. I would have been perfectly fine if it was a charred Sheriff Eric, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that it looked like he was on fire with flames, it was kind of hokey for me, man.
But it was her dream too.
I know, but I don't know. I felt like they could have did a better job with that.
Yeah.
Like if she saw the door open and then she opened up the door or whatever and nothing was there, and then she went to close it and all of a sudden it was this burn up Sheriff Eric grabbing her. I would have liked that more than the fact that he looked like he was on fire.
Yeah.
It seemed kind of stupid.
Kind of like
but that was honestly
Bad Dreams.
Yeah, it's just really, I mean, I know it's minute, but it's the last image we really have of the movie.
Right.
And so, but as a whole, this is an awesome movie, man.
Yeah, I liked it.
I mean, honestly, I would absolutely see this again. I would buy it.
Yeah.
This was a fun horror movie.
Yeah, it's a definite purchase, first day purchase for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad. I had high hopes for this.
Yeah.
But you and I were talking like whenever when we have high hopes, it always falls flat. I don't feel like that did that with.
No.
I think I like this more than I thought I was going to like it.
This is how I felt. So this was like 16 years in the making since when Grindhouse came out, when you think about it.
Yeah.
And if Eli Roth made this movie and it kind of sucked, you know, I would have thought, okay, well, he's kind of like a one
hit wonder type
one
of
hit
thing.
wonder,
Yeah.
with the couple hits. And I know that you're not as big on some of his movies that I am, but
Yeah.
you know, he does tend to like certain genres. You know,
Yeah.
obviously with Cabin Fever is like the, you know, it's the infection movie.
Yeah.
You know, and then he's got his Hostel. You know, which is torture porn stuff.
Yeah, see, I'm not into. I would probably, out of those two like subgenres, I would gravitate more towards the Cabin Fever.
Yeah.
I do not like the Hostile stuff at all. I don't like that type of stuff.
Then he's got his cannibal movie with Green Inferno.
Yeah.
It's like Cannibal Ferox.
I haven't
and
seen
Cannibal
it. I have not seen that.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Was it good?
I mean, as good as it can. I mean, a lot of
I
people
heard it's pretty brutal, right?
a lot of people that like Cannibal Holocaust and Cannibal Ferox.
So I'm not into that shit either.
When they saw it, they're like, "Yeah, that sucks." I actually enjoyed it, but
I've heard good things about it.
It's definitely for me. I watched it once. I don't need to see it again.
Yeah.
But it's definitely one where they're cutting up.
Yeah, see,
parts
I'm just not. I would like out of all those, this one would be the subgenre I would gravitate more towards.
And then he had like the thriller like Knock Knock, with the with Keanu Reeves. You know?
Oh yeah.
I actually enjoyed that one, and it's a remake of what is it? Deadly Games, Death Games. Oh God, I can't remember. But it's a remake. Sandra Locke played in it. And
I don't think I saw that. Yeah,
and Colleen Camp. Yeah,
but I mean, this was I don't know, man. I enjoyed this. This was a cool movie.
Yeah,
I would absolutely say check it out.
And it sets it up for if he wants to do a sequel.
Oh, dude, there'll be if this does well at the box office, which I have a feeling it might.
Yeah,
I think there'll be a sequel. Whether he directs it or not, I don't know. I bet you could get Patrick Dempsey to come back.
Yeah.
And be the killer. It's set up for it perfectly. Or you could just kind of just leave it as it is.
Yeah.
And it's fine, a standalone. Yeah, it's fine.
It's like a My Bloody Valentine.
Absolutely.
Where it was set up for a sequel and never had one.
Yeah. For sure. So that's Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Anything else, man? I can't think of anything else that we missed.
No, I think we carved it all up.
Oh my
on
God.
This episode.
You're stupid. Carved it up. You're funny.
I can't wait for some pumpkin pie.
Oh my goodness, some pumpkin pie, dude. I'm not a big fan of pumpkin pie.
Well,
I am I am a fan of pumpkin cheesecake, and I told my mom, I'm like, find that, and then make sure you get a big ass can of whipped cream so I could like load it up.
Oh man, I like Cool Whip.
You like Cool Whip?
Yeah.
Oh no. I mean, I don't dislike Cool Whip.
Yeah.
But Cool Whip. But if it was between Cool Whip and a can of whipped cream, oh dude, I'm going for that can. Oh yeah. Anyways, all right. Well, everyone, hey, thanks for listening. Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Morris, thanks for coming on out. Appreciate it. And everyone, take care.
Bye-bye.
You listened all the way to the end. We appreciate that. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Ear for Fear Podcast, Twitter at Ear for Fear, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Ear for Fear Podcast. You can also check out our website, earforfear.com. There we list news and events. We're available on all the main platforms, so make sure you tell a friend. We hope you come back and get an earful.